Yeah, it's German.
What was that, Drew? What was that?
No, nothing.
Like,
Nothing.
No, what did you just say?
And hot. Yeah, it's German.
Oh, yes. What a way to start the show.
Because we're talking about the three little pigs from
Shrek. I have actually seen Shrek, but I can't remember the three little pigs in Shrek.
They talk a German accent.
Do they?
Yeah.
I wonder why. Do you know what I mean?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I wonder why they talk in a German accent.
They're very excited in German, yeah.
Hi, everybody. This is another PB. Pandora's Box. If you didn't know, we're all here to talk to you about stuff. Look at Imogen's menacing face. There we go. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Have you guys ever heard of a man called, I assume he's a bit sassy and a bit French because of the way this is spelled.
Say it sassy.
Michel Siffry?
Never heard of that name before.
I assume it's Michel, or it might be Michael, but it's not with a Q. It's spelt Michel, so it's not spelt with an A next to the E.
Isn't that just Michael?
Well, Michael is usually spelt with an A next to the E.
Oh, okay.
But in this, so it's almost like more like Michelle, but without the L and the E.
Yeah.
Like the female name Michelle, but without the L and the E. But so I don't. Oh yeah, and he's a French scientist. It was blatantly Michel. So even though he was a man, his name was Michel Siffry, but asterisk could be like Michel or Michael, but probably
Miguel.
probably Michel, but he's a bloke. Imagine being a man and being called Michel.
Yeah, but it's probably normal in France.
Another reason why the French are weird. I mean, what's his dad called? Sandra? Do you know what I mean? This is my dad.
Do you reckon they would pronounce it like that as well, like Michel?
Yeah, I reckon probably, don't you?
Go on Google Translator and see what it says.
Do you reckon it would translate names?
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't be bothered to right now. I'd rather tell the story about the French
You carry on
scientist.
telling the story. I'll get this going.
Okay. So Michel Siffry, he was a French scientist. In 1972, beg your pardon, he conducted a 6-month underground experiment in a Texas cave. The experiment was called the Midnight Cave.
Ooh.
The study was about the human mind's perception of time without external cues. So obviously, usually, our body's clock.
Plato's Cave.
Oh, Plato's Cave. What's Plato's Cave, man?
It's some like psychological thing, or like it was a story that Plato told about people that lived in the cave their whole life,
right?
And they had no perception of light, so they didn't know. Their perception of time was just an interesting story, and it's about perception, and also there was a little bit of light from the entrance of the cave, and they thought. I'm gonna butcher it, man.
Did they think that it was like the sun or
something about like or that it was God or something like that.
That's amazing.
I can't remember now.
It's mad that they wouldn't ever just walk towards the light of the front of the cave and just go outside, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Before you carry on the story,
go on.
Mitchell.
Oh wait, that's clearly English.
Mitchell.
Mitchell. Hey, Mitchell.
Hang on.
Michele.
Michel. See, it was even sassier than I thought.
Michel.
So there was the French scientist, Michel Siffry. But I think it's probably a similar sort of point anyway, Drew. Yeah, what you said about Plato's Cave. So, this French scientist in 1972, Michel Siffry, conducted a 6-month underground experiment in a Texas cave. The Midnight Cave to study the human mind's perception of time without external cues. Basically, of course, as human beings, our body clocks run on lots of external cues. Obviously, the sun and the moon being, the two main factors. Of course, we are sort of hardwired.
Circadian rhythm.
Yeah, we understand that when the sun comes up, it's daytime. When the sun goes down, it's nighttime. But basically, if you're put in a situation where you don't have those cues, what happens to the mind's experience of time? Not just that, but obviously the night and the day time. It's how we judge 24 hours. So without the sky as a reference, it's impossible to tell Or it's impossible to stay in a 24-hour cycle, or at least that's what this scientist was trying to figure out, how much you could stay in that sort of 24-hour cycle. So yeah, the location was called the Midnight Cave. It was in Texas. He lived in complete darkness with no human contact, no clocks or any other time-keeping devices for 6 months, which I think is actually a crazy...
6 months?
It's a crazy amount of time, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy amount. This is a pretty mental story.
Yeah, man. I've mentioned darkness retreats before, I think, on the pod, and it's almost a similar thing. But people do it for 5 or 6 days at a time, and they start tripping balls after like 4 days. Your mind starts producing imagery and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That was after like 4 days of doing it with just no light whatsoever, everything blacked out in a little room. You know.
Yeah. Oh man. Well,
I couldn't do that.
You listen. If you listen to the
6
end,
months is insane.
yeah. If you listen to the end result of this test, yeah, this guy went through some stuff.
I just sleep all day. I check the time like constantly just because I like know what the time is.
Do you really?
Yeah, like you'll see me like throughout this. I'll just like quickly check the time. That's not like anything like
Yeah.
I'm.
I mean, to be fair,
seeing
I
how
think-
long it is.
I think-
just check
I think
the
we
time.
all like to know what the time is to an extent because we all are routine based, aren't we? And like,
Yeah.
I mean, like I know for me, I'm like,
I know how close it is to dinner.
yeah, like I want to know. I know what time you would usually leave on a Wednesday so that I can get home and work out and finish in a good time, so I'm not having like dinner too late still. Do you know what I mean? Or like tonight, Emma's going out for Pilates with her mate Helen, so I need to have finished in the gym. Really, I mean, I don't have to because Eve could just come in the gym with me, and she is good in the gym. But do you know what I mean? I'd like to be finished and then work out by the time Emma has to go to Pilates.
Yeah.
So like, I think we all need like to know the time because
Yeah.
it's for reference, isn't it? We're using it for
What
reference.
actually
I
is
think I just do it
Pilates?
because I'm a
Is
bit.
it like yoga, but like
It's
faster?
it's kind of like yoga in terms of like the main things it would do for you would be like mobility, body health. It's the sort of thing I feel like when you're a young man, you take the mick out of it, and then when you get into your mid-30s, you think actually there are benefits to Pilates,
To do a
and
bit of Pilates.
and probably everybody could benefit from Pilates. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's funny because I don't do Pilates as such, but just go in keeping with what I just said. I have incorporated like Pilates like movements into my workouts. Now I'm in my mid-30s, whereas I never would have done that in like my mid-20s. In my mid-20s, it was all just like deadlifts, squats, weighted pull-ups. Do you know what I mean? And like all etc. etc.
I'm gonna be a Pilates
like
man.
dumbbell press. Whereas now I'm like, you know, pull-ups.
Let's have a Pilates
Squats.
party.
Maybe a little, or like I'll always warm up really thoroughly and
Rowing
do.
machines.
I'll do like Pilates-like movements as part of my warm-up, and I basically have like a mobility routine that I do at the start of every workout.
Gotta
And
keep you mobile.
I do some of the movements that you're doing at the moment in your rehab.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think I said to you
yes,
last week because you were explaining them.
Yeah.
I do some of those. It's just I'm trying to keep myself really mobile and like loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
Because as you get older, you like seize up and you like lose mobility, and it can cause like really bad like hip pain, back pain, like sciatica, shoulder pain, and I just don't want that.
Yeah.
I
Fair
don't-
enough.
I've had some. I've almost like been teased with that a couple of times, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
My body's almost shown a bit of discomfort, and I don't like it. So then I've like tried to address it.
You want to be able to lift your grandkids up to put.
Oh, I love that
Put a
video. Have you seen that
thing on the
video? And it's
tree.
like a granddad.
Yeah, it's the
love that
Christmas ad,
video.
wasn't it?
Was it a
couple years
Christmas
back.
advert? Have you seen that one,
Yeah.
Drew? I actually
No.
that made me feel a little bit.
It's cute, isn't it? He like
That touched
lifts
me.
weights every day and stuff like that.
That
so he
touched
can
me.
lift his granddaughter
That almost
up
like
to put the star
reminded-
on the tree.
Yeah, that almost like reminded me of why it's important to work out. Do you know what I mean? It's not for me. It's not like you know, so you can like shave all your body hair off and put a load of fake tan on and put on a little thong to be like a bodybuilder. It's like it's to be like the best you can be physically in terms of like
I thought you were making a woman joke then, and then I realised you said to be a bodybuilder, and I was like, oh.
yeah, just ragging on women. No, obviously got nothing to do with women. Nothing to do with women. But it's like, I think that like you know your body is almost like a gift of life without sounding too cheesy. And without trying to sound like I'm like a religious seller or something, because I'm not religious too. But I feel like your body is like a gift, and I feel like you should make the most of it because it is a gift. And obviously some people against their own will end up like paraplegic, like severely disabled, and they never would even have the chance to make the most of it then. So it's like if you are able, I feel like it's almost like a shame not to like, you know, make the most of it. but also, being useful to your family. And in that video, so I didn't know it was a Christmas advert. I just knew I'd seen it before. But there was this advert a couple of years ago, and it was like this granddad, and he was like in his shed in his garden basically, and he was just doing like kettlebell swings and like push-ups and stuff, wasn't he? I can't remember exactly what he was doing.
Basically just lifting up a load of different weights, starting from really light, working his way up, just like lifting them up and down like that, because he just wanted to be able to lift his granddaughter
And then it just shows at the end of the advert, he's like this really old man, but he's like lifting his like 3 or 4 year old grandkid up or something to like put the star on top of the Christmas tree. And I was just thinking like, that's what it's all about, you know? What it's all about is like being the ability to be like 80 years old and still be able to pick up your grandkid like that, you know, not like just be like in a wheelchair in the corner, or you need a Zimmer frame to work and to walk. Sorry, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, I like that. Yeah, I like that personally.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how.
I always remember as well.
No, go on, man.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, go
on. I was just going to say, when we were in Trianon once, and my mum was with that Rob guy, but he was like in his 70s, and we were fishing up there, and I always remember like he scaled the rocks, and like I was like moving across the rocks quite fast, like different ones going up, because it was all like cliffs and that. You had to get down cliffs to get to the fishing spot. And I looked behind me, and he was just right behind me, and he was just kind of like scared. I'm like, that's cool. Like he at that age being able to be so mobile still, and not just like, you know, because he was a builder and he was so physical with his job, he would just like work, you know, he was still really strong and still really mobile and everything. It's like, that's good.
That's the good thing about
chase a young'un across the rocks.
Oh man, 100%. I think that's the really good thing about those sorts of trades, like being like any sort of builder or like landscaper or anything like that. It's like you're forced to stay in shape because, or even say like Josh with his tree surgery, like Josh doesn't really have that much interest in training. Like I know that like obviously on and off he's like really good at running, but I know he's like fell out the habit of doing it again at the moment. Sorry for outing you, Zoussoir. But I know that he hasn't done it in a little while again.
Comes to the dark side.
But he did actually say, you know, the episode a couple of weeks ago, Drew, where it was really funny because you were like talking about how good your diet is, but you're just eating like a whole bar of Biscoff chocolate. Do you remember that? It was really funny because we were talking about that. No, we weren't talking about that, but Josh was I can't remember if we were talking about working out or something, and then Josh was like, yeah, man, I have to say, I did sympathise with Drew the other week because he was like, I also sometimes sit down in the evening, and he was like, I'll sit there with my Cadbury's bar, and he was like, I'll have like 4 little squares of that. And he was like, and then the next thing you know, he'll literally look down and the whole bar is just gone.
Everyone does that though.
It's easy to do.
I said to him, like, man, I literally just like, I like can't have a dark chocolate digestive packet in my house. Or if there is,
they'll be gone.
I can't have one because I just can't do it. Like one, I'll have one, and then I'm like, I'll have 4. Yeah. I don't know why it's always like, I don't know why 4 must be the natural progression from one. But I'm like, I'll have 4, and I kid you not.
No, just the rest of the packet.
I could eat a whole packet of chocolate digestives.
Agreed.
I could have a cup, especially if I've got a cup of coffee to dunk them.
Agreed.
Oh my lord!
I like turning them into s'mores, so I like roasting a bit of marshmallows and then putting 2 together with the marshmallows.
That's such like a girl thing to do. That's such a girl thing.
So
to do.
nice.
See, to me, that's too much work.
I do that.
Women are so much more willing.
I do that, and as I'm doing that, I'm eating the rest of the packet of the biscuits.
Right.
So I make 2 s'mores in the end because I've eaten the rest of the biscuits.
See, to me, it's almost like
calories.
Like to me, almost like a heavenly idea is like, imagine like, you know, when you're like proper into a show, like a TV program, like sit down on like your favorite spot in the living room, that spot which is like your spot, that you know it's almost like molded to you at that point. Feet up. Yeah. Packet of freaking dark chocolate digestives. That's like my thing. That's
the dark chocolate one specifically though.
Yeah. Like I'm not really a massive fan of milk chocolate. I know that a lot of people love milk chocolate, but I
like dark chocolate.
I prefer dark chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Like a milky coffee, a whole packet of McVitie's dark chocolate biscuits, digestives. To me that's like heaven.
I'm hungry now.
That's like heaven.
Right, sorted.
The idea, like, I would have something like that, say, the first time I watched, like, The Last Kingdom or Vikings or Game of Thrones or insert whatever, like, you know.
You're going to make me need to get a pack on my way home.
I got to be careful with Snickers.
I do like a Snickers, mate.
I freaking love I freaking love Snickers, and like I for the first time in years, is that when I was in the supermarket the other day, I bought like an 8-pack of Snickers, and I was like, oh, that'll be just good to have in the cupboard, you know. Like 2 days later, they're just all gone.
Yeah,
and I'm like, damn.
I don't know what it is.
They're a little bit smaller than the bars, so it's just like one bite.
I don't know what it is about the combination between like the yeah, I was gonna say like the chocolate and the peanut. There's something about the combination between almost like the flavour and like the texture of the peanut mixed in with the chocolate. To me, like I'm not like a fan of something like a Mars bar. It's too like gooey and like caramelly.
Oh, I like caramel
to
stuff.
me,
I don't like the
to me that's like too sweet. But a Snickers is like bang on.
Yeah. Do you know what I saw and I saved earlier? Man. Someone used Cocoa Pops, made like almost like Rice Krispie bars, where like you mix it with chocolate or whatever they are. You do like Easter, don't you? You mix Cocoa Pops with chocolate and then you mix it together. They added chocolate buttons into that, made a flat base, added the caramel, and then added chocolate and made like a millionaire's shortbread, but with cocoa pops at the bottom instead of the biscuit. And I think I need to make one of those and eat it all in one go.
That's like
yum.
That's like diabetes.
I've got such a sweet tooth. Honestly, I love like sweet anything unhealthy.
I think like a lot. Like obviously, I'm generalising, but I think women in general do have a very sweet tooth, don't they?
Oh yes.
I don't think I've ever known a woman who hasn't like almost like needed a bit of chocolate here and there. I
get to the point where like I need to taste a bit of chocolate just for the taste of chocolate. Not that I want it, I just need to taste chocolate. Right now we're talking about chocolate, I just need like a little bit of chocolate just to.
It seems so important. Even like the women I've known in my life that are like really health conscious, they'll find a way to get their chocolate fix still. Whereas I'm almost just like I just won't eat it because it will just. It's easier to not have it at all than it is just to have a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, not for me.
Was it like the Maztec thing? We said it on the podcast before, where it was like cacao, so like what chocolate is made of. Wasn't that like so valued in one of the? It might have been Mexican culture or something.
Yeah,
it was
like South American.
You could get divorced if your husband didn't provide you like cacao. Like
I can't remember if it was cacao or coffee.
Cacao is the bean.
I can't remember. I can't remember if it was cacao or if it was coffee, because obviously I think they both originate from South America, don't they?
Yeah, highly prized.
Tell you what, I
remember it was really highly prized.
That makes South America in itself quite dope, doesn't it?
Belly, cacao is the bean.
That's
what the chocolate is made out of.
Yeah.
Consistent. The bitterness of the chocolate depends on the percent of.
What's this you're on about?
I'm saying a quote from a TV show.
Remember
the
series?
That girl one, the one that
temporary, yeah.
the one that
I said it last time.
The one that your Meg likes as well. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Belly, cacao is the bean.
But isn't it like mad to think, because for us that like we were born in like 1990.
It's so dark in this room.
And Imogen was born. Nice observation.
Sorry.
We were born in like 1990. You were like thinking out loud then. And then Imogen, you were born in what, 2007?
Yes.
I'm basically your dad. I'm like second dad. I'm like your second dad at this point. I'm like your work dad.
I am your father.
Yeah, but like imagine like
Anakin.
There was a time like several hundred years ago where like just nobody in Britain would have even known what coffee or chocolate was. That's mad. Because it's such like a staple of everyone's life. It's like what percentage of the population do you think wake up and their first thought is coffee? Like, it's a lot, I reckon.
Most.
It's a lot.
That's my parents' first thought.
It's like most people I know, that's what they think.
Got to have a coffee.
I wonder if there's any foods that have been like, that have fallen out like that we never have anymore at all. Like, do you know, almost the opposite, like that would have been a staple thing.
I feel like no one has crumpets anymore.
As Englishmen.
I love how your reaction to that is crumpets. I think Drew's talking about literally like 500 years ago. Like and you're like, I don't think people have crumpets anymore.
No, like I had a crumpet the other day and it was the first time I had one in like ages.
Crumpets are good.
Like people usually people order crumpets, but people don't order crumpets.
Do you know the only thing I don't
sourdough
like?
Crumpets are insane.
And I think it's like more of like an American
sourdough
thing.
Crumpets?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Treat yourself, Imo. Come on, treat yourself.
They're so good.
But the only thing, and I think it's a bit more of an American thing in general, but it's when people put things like jam on crumpets. I'm not so much a fan.
No, I like Marmite, butter and Marmite.
I was going to say like more of a savoury.
But you need to put like a lot of butter and a lot of Marmite so it soaks through, and then the bottom of it is like all.
If you're going to have a crumpet, you need to put a lot of butter on it. Yeah, so it's almost like soaks right through. Yeah. and then just a bit of Marmite on the top, so it's like.
And then he's mopping it after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mop the butter off the plate with the butter.
How do we get from the French guy?
This episode is so appealing to the little fat kid in me. The little fat kid in me that's just still got like a really gelled quiff.
The Indiana Jones rock that we were on about earlier.
Like that chicken, just cooking it with a whole pot of Jersey cream. I was just like, it's got to be done. But it just made the chicken so nice and just creamy, like the sauce and that.
Funnily enough, saying that I was like talking to Josh about the, and he was saying about how he sympathised with the chocolate thing. I was like saying to him, it's like inside of me, I just feel like there's just this like ravenous little fat boy who just constantly is just looking to break out, He's just constantly trying to break out, He's just like, and all he cares about. When
you say about that American trip you had when you were younger, I can just imagine how much you were loving that. You said you'd have like whole massive burgers for lunch, and like,
mate. Honestly, I have like such a voracious appetite that like it's very rare that I even get full. Like I could just keep going. I have to be like so disciplined. Like honestly,
skills.
Literally in my head, there's just a little just a little fat kid, and all he's just trying to do is just tell me to like eat, watch Star Wars, and read dinosaur magazines. That's all he wants to do while listening to like random music in the background, like Seal and stuff like that, and like XTC.
You should have one day a year where you just fully dedicate your life to that vision.
Fat Kid Fest,
just for one day.
Yeah, I'll just have loads of like tubs of gel around for some reason.
This is why I think the mukbang would slap.
With all this food and like.
Yeah.
Mukbang so slap.
Yeah, we'll video it.
Yeah, you guys Calum would just be eating his food the whole time.
I just wouldn't even talk to the camera. I'd just go quiet.
But it'd be left to us.
It'd be pure mastication.
So, that'd be so great. Just talk about loads of food and just eat loads of food.
I have to say, sometimes I do find it interesting because I follow like Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw and people like that who are both former World's Strongest Men, and they're like really good friends. And I find it interesting to almost like watch what they guys eat. Do you know what I mean? So they'll do like they'll sometimes I watch the videos and it's like they go to the supermarket and it's like what they buy for the week, or it might just be like they go to a restaurant. And I do find it interesting in terms of like, but I think that's obviously because I'm sort of like I'm into training and I'm interested to see what like the guys on like the top level of
food
of like strength sports eat. Yeah,
I'm into training and food.
Well, yeah, and obviously and also because sometimes it can be helpful as well because they might like do something or buy something. Do you know what I mean? That might almost be like a tip. Do you know what I mean? Or like a way to cook something even. And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So I do think it's quite beneficial.
Is it a hell of a lot?
Yeah, for those guys, it's like a hell of a lot. Yeah, but you got to bear in mind those are guys that are like both former World's Strongest Men, like both like at their peak, they were both sort of around like 30 stone. Like Eddie Hall's like as tall as me, but like as broad as a barn door, and Brian Shaw's like 6'9" and like as broad as a barn door. Do you know what I mean? So like these guys are both massive.
Hench.
Yeah, Eddie Hall, first ever guy to deadlift 500 kilograms, and Brian Shaw was like four times World's Strongest Man. It's like, I can't remember. I think that at their most, they were like both sort of on about 10,000 calories a day, which is like basically it's like when you're eating that much, eating is almost like a job in itself. Like eating is almost like a whole job because it's like if you're not eating food, you're preparing food or you're buying food. Or you're doing something to do with food, Even if it's like you're going on the road, so you're prepping food.
It'd be a lot of cooking. It'd be a lot of like, doing it all the time, just to be able to eat it.
Mate, I can't remember. I think they're like, I'm trying to remember now. I think their food bill, like, what was it? Like their food bill per week was like insane. It was like something like in their prime, they were spending something like £700 a week on food, or like £600 a week on food or something. It was insane. But it was like, you should see, but it was like the sheer amount of like meat and like they were buying and stuff. Oh yeah.
The topic I was on about earlier. Surprise.
Oh, you've got a little conversation. We will eventually, by the way. We're going to leave the French dude as like we've left him on like a little bit of a cliffhanger. We'll get back to him later on.
We're leaving them in the dark.
6 months, so.
Yeah, he's been in there for 6 months. He can wait another like 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing was, you know how you can get like corn meat, so it's like not actually meat, it's for
like,
vegetarians.
It's like made out of like mushrooms and
stuff. Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
like made out of things like that. So you know how you can get that, and people tend to quite like it. Like I have that at home because my mum doesn't eat a lot of meat, so we use corn instead.
I remember you saying all that.
So if
Gutted.
there was something like that,
for
made like human meat, but it's not human meat. It's like a corned meat, but it's like human meat. Would you eat it or not?
Are you talking about cannibalism?
But it's not really cannibalism, is it? Because it's not human meat, it's corn
meat grown in a lab.
Yeah, like lab-grown, like human meat. Would you have it or not? Because like the morals don't apply.
Aren't they?
Because like the morals
Italy have banned it, haven't they? Italy cares so much. Do you know what? I love the Italians. Sorry, we'll get back to your main point in a minute. We'll get back to your main point in a minute, Mo. But like, I love the Italians so much. I like, do you know what? It's like one of my favourite countries to go on holiday.
They've got great food.
Their food is just like, in my opinion, along with like Greek food and English food, is like my favourite food in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I like American food as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with American food. But American food is arguably, I feel like, a mishmash between
everything,
sort of like Italian and British.
It's just everything made huge,
and like Mexican and. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to be fair, I do think they do kind of have. I think the whole kind of like slow cooked meat thing. To be fair to the Yanks, I feel like they kind of developed that on their own, and we have actually we've copied them in that regard. You know, that whole sort of like barbecue. You know, you got to get your seasoning on this, and then we're gonna put it in the Traeger grill.
Smokehouse barbecue.
I'm gonna stick my temperature rod in here, and I'm gonna slow cook this son of a gun for like 22 hours, and I'm gonna take it out. And you know, like, to be fair to the Yanks, they know how to do a meat. You know, they know how to do it. But like, but yeah, like, I just love the Italians. Like, they are so committed and so proud of food that I love to them. It's almost like sacrilege to imagine that you might actually like grow a synthetic meat. They're like, no, that is ridiculous. We would take it straight from the cow, of course. You know,
I can imagine that. Yeah,
it's like how people that are really high principled in the world of like sports performance or sports or athletics feel about steroids. I feel like it's a bit like that. Do you know what I mean? They're like, no, it's cheating. You have to do it properly. You know, and I appreciate that. So yeah, but I feel like you're going to get to your question, Imogen. I feel like your question's a bit crazy.
Well,
a bit mental.
It's not like obviously actually going to happen. It's just like scenario. I saw like on another podcast someone spoke about it, and I thought, oh, that's quite like a cool thing that I could bring up here. Like, because it's still like, so if it, you know how corn meat kind of tastes like,
I would argue it doesn't really.
Whenever I have it, it tastes the same, just a little bit like when you have.
Tastes like what though?
Well, if you're having, for example, like the corn mince,
it
tastes like the normal.
You think that corn mince tastes like beef mince?
It might just be because I have it so much, but I think it tastes basically the same, just a little bit less juicy.
See, I think I could tell a massive difference.
That might just be because you have like a lot more meat.
I think it is. Yeah,
do you reckon like if they made that, but like of like a human variant version?
But that would be quite psychotic, wouldn't it? Imagine the marketing disaster of that. Like, right, guys, I've got an idea.
I don't have any version of it.
We are gonna.
Know how they like.
We're gonna roll out human burgers, but don't worry, they're not actually gonna be human burgers, but they will appeal.
For those people that have always wanted to be cannibals.
Yeah, for the cannibals out there.
Or would you try it just to like see what it's like?
I mean,
it's like pork anyway. They call it long pig, don't they?
Yeah, that's right.
They call human meat long pig because it's like quite like pork.
Because literally we're like long pigs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, human meat is like pork. Yeah. I mean, I would try it because it's not actually human, is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's all I was like. Like,
but
it was more like for the morals of the whole situation. I wouldn't like morally correct.
I wouldn't try it if it was like lab grown, actually like human meat, synthetic human meat. But I would eat it if it was like a corn equivalent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would be too much if it was like some lab grown, like they'd taken some sort of like human DNA or however they do it, and then they've like grown that. I would feel like that'd be very gross.
Yeah. Do you
know what I mean? Because like at that point, like when do you just like? Surely at that point you technically are a cannibal. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
But if it's just like corn, long pig nuggets, then I'd be like, yeah, why not? Because it's like it's a bit like because it's the whole reason why a vegetarian would eat corn, isn't it? It's like because it's not meat.
I suppose.
So I would eat it because I wouldn't be a cannibal by eating it.
I suppose, yeah. It's more for like the morals of the whole thing, because like when I saw the people talking about it, one of them was like, no, I'd never eat that. That's human meat. And the other one was
if it was corn, it wouldn't.
Not human meat.
If it was corn, it wouldn't be. If it was lab grown, I wouldn't do it. But if it was corn, I would because I said corn's just made up of like
I suppose,
the whole thing is like corn is essentially it's like trying to trick your senses, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not actually what it's trying to be or trying to taste like. It's like
I feel like corn's just a little bit.
I feel like it is primarily made of like mushrooms. And stuff,
it's
isn't
just like a more driver. I feel like they sometimes, not all of them, but some of them. I always find that the mints taste the same. Yeah. It's just more dry.
I tried some corn sausages once because my Uncle Don went through a phase of eating some corn stuff, just like as part of his diet alongside other things. And I tried some corn sausages when I was having dinner with him. He cooked me dinner, and I thought they were alright. But
fermented fungus. That's what the corn is made out of.
Yeah, I thought it was.
No,
like,
I don't want it anymore.
I thought it was like made.
To be fair, the actual proper like beef mince tastes so much nicer.
Oh yeah.
When I have it, it's like a proper treat. That's why I always get spaghetti whenever I go out to a restaurant because whenever I have it at home, it's always the corn version.
Remind me why that is again? Isn't your like mama like allergic to it or something?
No, so the only meat she eats is like fish and chicken because the other ones make her sick and she don't like it.
Is that psychological or physical though?
No idea. She used to like eat loads of like meat and then she just stopped and she just can't have it.
So it's psychological?
No idea.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like a little bit of like the fact that she just doesn't want to eat it, but also a little bit of she can't. I don't really know.
So she's just a bit of like a...
She's a bit of like an in-between.
Squeamish eater or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
But
you are kind of too though anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, but not with meat.
But just not with meat?
No. I love a beef like lasagna or like a beef like spaghetti bolognese for like a treat.
I feel like your
so
body,
good.
I feel like from what I can tell, other people feel like this as well. I feel like my body thanks me when I eat beef. I feel like my body's like...
The level of satiation is...
Yeah, but I feel like my body's like, you have given me exactly what I want. That's what I feel like my body's like,
tastes so nice.
You know how when you eat like a Chinese or a McDonald's or chocolate, like... Yeah, it's nice in terms of your taste buds.
Feel a bit sick after.
But 10 minutes afterwards, you almost feel a bit dirty.
And also when you're eating it, I feel like you can like... You feel like
you're unhealthy.
It's like hard to like go down. It's like you almost feel like the fattiness in it.
You feel like your body, you can almost like feel your body reacting badly to it, rejecting
in your heart, yeah.
And it's almost like you feel a bit guilty about it, almost like I've just given my body this awful thing, you know? It's like trying to put diesel in a petrol car or something, you know? But I feel like when I have, especially if it's after a workout, like every Friday, after I work out on a Friday, I always have steak and homemade wedges. So a bit like what you were saying about how you've had like some homemade chips, Drew, with tallow. But I have like homemade potato wedges cooked in goose fat. And so goose fat wedges. And I'll have about 250 grams of fillet steak. Don't get me wrong. It's an expensive meal, even for a home cooked meal. But it's totally worth it. And I just feel like
want beef
we'll sit there as a family and have like big portion of peas, so these goose fat homemade potato wedges, and then like 250 G's of fillet steak, and like my body is just like I feel like my body is just like, mate, you're the man for giving me this, you know? I feel like it's like
I really want some meat now.
I feel like my body's just like, you've done all these pull-ups and dips and squats and everything, and now you've just like had a quick cold bath.
This is just what I need.
Yeah, had a quick cold bath, just a quick cold dunk, steak and wedges and peas. Boom. That's I
really just want something like that meat now, like steak or something, or like beef, just something like that. I just need some.
Hell to the Oh man, yeah, so good.
Now we're all just sat here like, I really wish I had some beef.
Yes, beef. But yeah, I think just like very plainly, I think like. Nice man. I don't really understand that person you were talking about, Imogen's like moral issue.
Neither.
If it was actually corn, because as I said, it's not meat, is it? It's not human meat. So
what do you think?
I think it's just. I think it's very odd.
Yeah.
The idea that somebody would want to make a corn product
agreed.
That tasted like human, but
that might not have been exactly what he was saying. I can't quite remember what he was saying. All I know is I heard him talk about like corn and like a
it probably would have been lab grown, I can imagine.
It might have been lab grown actually, but
right, okay.
I remember it came off from a conversation about corn.
You hear a lot about that at the moment.
Yeah,
maybe it was just lab grown.
You hear a lot of people saying about that it'll that they're hoping the meat industry will be replaced by lab grown meat because it's like
but why do they?
Blah, blah,
but
that's what they were talking about. Yeah, and they started talking about like corn mince and stuff like that as well, and how they use that. And then it went to the human lab grown.
There's all this new evidence coming out that everything going on about how like carbon emissions in cows is like absolute bull. Anyway, have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah, apparently it's like all those years where people were saying about how like we need to stop the meat industry because it's so bad for the environment. Apparently all these new studies have come out saying that none of the studies took into account the positive effect on carbon emissions that the fields had that the cattle were stored in, right? So obviously what I mean by that is like, obviously they have these massive fields which are full of grass for the cattle to roam in. And apparently when you take into account how much carbon the grass absorbs, it actually completely ends up like a net zero effect. So like if you took all the cows that are currently in fields in the UK, like all the grass that the cows are roaming on, the amount of fields that are obviously created for these cows to roam on them, just completely negates any effect of like carbon emission anyway. So it's like this whole time it's all just been like rubbish essentially.
Yeah, I think the whole carbon thing is bollocks anyway. From hearing things from different people and like that Greg Braden guy and that when he was talking about it, it would just give me a completely different perspective on it and how it would actually, if we hit all of the emission rates and everything that the government are trying to get to, it would actually be worse for us.
Yeah, man.
Like, you know.
Oh, 100% would be worse for us. 100%.
The earth cooling would be worse for us and stuff. And I don't know.
Yeah, but net zero, from what I've looked into, net zero is essentially a massive scam. Like, it's a massive scam, which is like kind of crazy in a way, isn't it?
It's like these massive ideas that they try and get us all to
get on board with,
normal populace behind.
Yeah, and it's all to it's all to our detriment.
Like really, really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It seems that it's pushing an agenda for a certain reason that isn't actually good for us, rather than like.
No, it's not good for us too.
Under the guise of like this, you know, you're really green and you're really eco if you do this. You know, it's like it tugs on your heartstrings and stuff of like, I want to be a better person. Like, of course, everyone wants to be a better person, but like, is it actually going to make things better?
100%, man.
Sometimes I think no, you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them because I think I saved actually somewhere some information actually about that with the climate thing. But I feel whenever I put myself on the spot and actually try and find something like that, it's like it's typically impossible to find, and I don't remember exactly where I saved it. But
it is very dark in this room.
Right.
Sorry, I just had to state that. I feel like it's really dark.
Comments with Imogen.
I feel like
it's dark.
I feel like it's night.
It's autumn.
Like really nighttime.
It's autumn now, Imogen. It's November. I thought that the other day actually. I was like driving home and it was only like 20 to 5, and it was like almost pitch black. And I was like, it's nearly Christmas now when it gets light. It makes me feel
really tired. It like messes up my body clock because I'm like wanting to go to sleep.
Have a little nap if you want. Have a little cheeky nap.
You'd never be able to wake me up. My naps are like 2 hours long.
Bet you would.
What, with the siren?
Yeah, or I'd find something. I'd find some way to wake you up.
Oh.
Yeah, but I thought it was, and also not only obviously, going on with what I was just saying about, all of those studies that went into like cows and carbon and emissions and stuff like that didn't take into account like, with the grass in the fields and stuff like that. But even without that anyway, and I know we've talked about this on the pod before, but it's like a fact that like even if just like overnight, if some like godlike being clicked to their fingers and the UK just disappeared, our carbon emissions are so low anyway compared to countries like Brazil, India, China, that like it literally would have no effect. So you could literally like everybody in the UK could go back to like a full medieval lifestyle and it would have no effect on the planet. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like
and the fact that the Earth is actually greener now than it was 30 years ago, which kind of blew my mind.
Mate, and it's green.
Because all the trees and that.
It's green.
That carbon because they're like, more food.
Yeah, man, it's greener than it was 100 years ago, Drew. It's greener than it was 100 years ago, which I think a lot of people think is crazy. It was like the planet was way less green at the end of the Second World War than it is now. But I think all of us in our head think like, oh, well, surely when our grandparents were young, it was way more green then. But it was like, no, there's way more trees on the planet now.
I see that it'd be more green now than after the World Wars because obviously all the bombs and everything just killed everything off, didn't it?
Well, they weren't bombing trees, though, were they? They were bombing cities and stuff, The
trees probably got mixed into it, though.
Sometimes they had a battle in a forest.
Oh, those Ents always get brought into it. Just watch the Two Towers, we know that, Yeah. Next thing you know, we'll be marching on frickin'... Isengard. These trees were my friends, Saruman. Yeah, I really.
Groot.
Yeah, I'll try and find that thing I found about the carbon emissions. But I did see something else recently, and it was basically going on about how awful and unproductive and just overly nihilistic it was. That almost like I think our generation was probably the first that this happened to, Drew, but it's happened straight through to Imogen's generation as well, I feel. And it was basically, it's like how we've almost been gaslit, that like everything is awful. There's no point in having kids. There's no point doing anything because everything's gloom and doom. The world's going to die. The world's going to blow up. And how basically that's just like, not only is that just overly nihilistic and is like completely... A nihilistic mindset is completely unhelpful to anybody. It's essentially, it's the same reason why anxiety is so bad and so crippling, because like worrying about something either way won't affect the outcome of anything. All it does is just the worrying in itself is just unproductive, you know? Like it's like spending your entire life anxious that you're going to die. It's like, well, what benefit does that have? You should be focusing on how good it
live.
Yeah, you should be focusing on how good it is to be alive and making the most of that. But instead, you're just in this constant. So, like, not only is it completely unproductive in the first place, but it's caused this whole generation now. There's like a certain percentage of people our age, a certain percentage of people sort of in between our age and Imogen's age, and a whole percentage of people of Imogen's age that think like there's no point in having kids. There's no point doing that. Everything's awful. The world's just going to blow up. You've got, you know, like Greta Thunberg types that are like almost like fanatical. And it's not only is it completely destructive and completely harmful to an entire generation of people, or several generations of people. So the people, you know, older than us in the first place should are responsible for that. And it's actually really shameful that they've done that to all these people. But also, not only is it unhelpful, but it also just seems like the more information that's coming out at the moment, it actually seems like it's a lie as well, which makes it, which actually, to me, crosses the line into like, it's malicious. And not only that, and it's like this, because the long-term ramifications of this are like really serious. You're now looking at things like population collapse, where because loads of people in their 30s and 20s and maybe even 40s don't want to have kids, there's just going to be population collapse. That's going to cause massive societal harm. You know, people have got mental health issues because they genuinely think that like any moment now, it's just going to be like the apocalypse, essentially. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and it just doesn't seem like the more that time's going on, it doesn't seem that any of these things are the case. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I think this is it. Let me play this a minute to you guys. Let me see if this is a...
Research into cattle emissions has mostly focused on the animals themselves, but new research happening at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln is focusing on the pastures where cattle graze and the role that it can play in carbon capture.
They've not accounted for the capture part. They've only accounted for methane being lost, and everything else is at balance. Turns out that's not really true.
When it comes to greenhouse gases, you have emissions and capture. Animals emit carbon, or CO2, but the soil and plants that grow in it can capture CO2. And Erickson's team has found that capture, helped out by cattle grazing and manure, can far outweigh the emissions from cattle.
With adequate precipitation, we're actually seeing that grasslands can take up more CO2 or more carbon in the soil and the plants that offsets the CO2 that cattle are producing, but also offsets the methane.
Erickson and Schweitzer both hope this research won't just correct assumptions about ag's role in climate change. Research into cattle...
Yeah, so basically, eat some beef and don't worry about it. Eat your beef, eat some cow. If you know some like, you know, nihilistic...
I was going to say Nazi then.
If you know some nihilistic, neurotic Nazi...
If you know some Nazis...
No, let's leave the Nazi out of this, because apparently everyone's a Nazi nowadays, so we'll just put that to one side. You know, if you know some crazy, neurotic, nihilistic person that's screaming in your face about not eating dairy and beef, just say, man, just go away. Just leave me to it. I'm going to go down the beef aisle, please. And I'm going to get myself a nice steak. Don't worry about it. All right? If you want to live... Don't worry about me, If you want to live your life in some sort of like nihilistic, neurotic, anxiety-driven mess, that's on you. I'm going to eat some steak. I'm going to do some pull-ups. And I'm going to have a good time. And that's when I put my shades on. And then some Kenny Loggins would start playing. Yeah.
All good times.
Good time. And then listen to Good Times with
I saw this... talking about it, bringing it into like the Italian thing as well. I think I mentioned it on the pod before, but like this one of the highest welfare cattle ranch in America, like the best meat that you can get, basically. She used to be a vegan. The actual farmer used to be a vegan and had all these health issues, and actually went over for a summer in Italy and stayed in this little village, and they were so aligned with like the cycles of nature, as in like with like they would get like one cow in the butcher, and like the different cuts of meat, as like different people in the village, different cuts are available throughout the week, and then they would get another in the next week, and everyone just lived in like harmony with what was coming in naturally from what was growing on the land there. And she said she just had to fall into this practice of eating local and eating what was provided in that way, and her body literally changed, and all of these issues that she'd had for years just went, and it was like eating beef and eating like dairy and just stuff that was naturally, and lots of vegetables and that they were growing and everything, but just everything that was just sourced locally and naturally. And it sort of out, so and it inspired her to create her own farms where that kind of welfare was like put to the animals that she would rear in America, and that, and then it's like every part of the process is like super cared about, from like when they're first born to like when they're slaughtered and stuff, and it was and she could just see the benefits from that. But I think that it's a simpler way of looking at it, but they're just, that is kind of ingrained into their culture more, I think, in Italy and stuff, like
definitely
small villages and that, like, and
I think that's I think that's kind of like one of the things I meant when I said like I love like the Italians and their outlook on food and everything, because it's like not only is their food just so nice, but it's like there's something about the Italian way of life where it is like a lot more connected. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like everything's a lot like fresher. Do you know what I mean? Like if you get like, you'll have like a lemon tree and you'll get the lemon straight off the tree, and then you'll make like lemon ice cream from that lemon, or you'll make limoncello from it, or or just like anything like that.
Insanely better.
It's making me so hungry.
We're having
fresh.
Yeah, I mean, this is another really good thing actually on climate change that I actually shared on our Instagram, but I think it's really worth listening to. And this is a woman who used to suffer from climate anxiety that has now recovered, and she went to like one of these like doom and gloom, like climate, like the world's gonna die sort of like events like in the streets. So I don't know, it's probably not like a protest, but you know what I mean, I don't know what like events. But this is really intriguing because she goes into stats, so I think this can be helpful to people and also genuinely educate people. I think it's because I want to know at the end of the day, I mean, I think whether we admit it or not, or whether we're aware of it or not, we're all going to have our biases, right? But at the same time, I think we should all strive as much as possible to only care about the truth. Like don't have necessarily like a dog in the race, just try and strive for the truth. And I try my best to be like that. So I think it's really good to listen to things like this because, you can see some of these people, some of them almost like are listening to the facts that she's saying, and some of them just push back against it because it's like some people, it's almost like they've decided they're a part of a team almost. And then it's like, regardless of what information is put in front of them,
quite tribal about it.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, like, and it's happened all throughout human history, isn't it? You look at like, say, like the Nazis, you think, well, how could somebody be a Nazi? And it's like, well, the majority of people in Germany went along with it, and because the majority of people went along with it, that was just the team you just chose. So it was only really, really independently minded people, really intellectual people, and really rebellious people that would actually go against that. You look back like to like pre-Darwinism era of like England, say, before the Industrial Revolution, before Darwinism, it was like if you dared say that God you weren't a Christian, essentially, then you would literally be branded a heretic and like tortured and killed. You could be burnt at the stake, or you could be crucified, or you could just be tortured. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and now that seems kind of crazy to us, but I think it's a good.
She's a witch.
Yeah, I think it's a good way. It's a good, like when I say it seems crazy to us now, I think it does when we're thinking about the specifics. But actually, if you think about it, it's still happening today, but with just different issues. Most people still will just go with the majority. Most people a lot of people don't even know why they have the opinions they have. It's almost like they just think, well, I know enough to know that the majority of people think this, so surely that must be right. But it's like, well, you could look at examples all throughout history where the majority of people say, yeah, that if you say that you're not a Christian, then you should be killed. Or if you're not a Nazi, then you're on the bad side of things. Do you know what I mean? There's literally examples through every single generation throughout history where there would, in certain cultures or in certain civilizations, the majority were wrong. So that is proof alone that you shouldn't necessarily just go along with the majority. You should always be listening to as much information as you can, gather as much information you can, and use your own logic in your own mind to form an opinion. Because if you just go with the majority, then you would have been one of those people that was a Nazi.
It could be detrimental.
Yeah, you would have been one of those people that would have been a Nazi. You would have been one of those people that would have thought it was good to burn people at the stake.
Or to drown people, and if they fly back up, they're a witch.
Exactly. You know, burn people at the stake just because they say they're not a Christian, or, you know, like any sort of religious zealotness. Really and cool. It's that exact same reason why, you know, we should always challenge things and not go along with, say, just the narrative of, yes, we're all doomed. We're all doomed. The world's all awful. We should just follow this net zero disaster thing, and actually look at the facts and think, do we really need to do this? But yeah, listen to this, guys. I think this is really interesting.
Who broke up with the movement and healed my climate anxiety, and now I'm going to climate march to see if I can heal more people with the facts.
Do I have climate anxiety? Absolutely.
A little bit, yeah. A lot. It's the first thought on my mind every day when I wake up.
The world that I'll inherit will be essentially beyond saving. You're just going to have to die young in a dying world.
What's the point of even doing anything if, like, the earth is going to, like, blow up?
Things are not looking better right now.
So I actually have a few charts that maybe will make your climate anxiety feel better. Climate-related disaster deaths are at an all-time low, so they've dropped by 99% since 1920. We are actually safer than ever from climate-related disaster deaths because of modernization. Less people are dying than ever before. So it used to be 500,000 deaths a year, and now it's under 20,000.
And is that due to the fact that climate change is abating? I don't think so.
No, it's because we are adapting.
Oh, that's amazing.
So we have like early warning systems. We have cars instead of like horse and buggy. When a storm comes, we're much better at evacuating.
I think those numbers would be much higher if you took out the millionaires, white, well-served, privileged communities.
One thing we could think about doing is lifting the most people out of poverty. And the thing that actually does that, don't be mad at me, guys, but it's literally when you increase fossil fuel use, you increase GDP, and that's when you lift the most people out of poverty.
This is a very Western-centric perspective.
Well, this is India and China, and they increased their fossil fuels, they became richer, and then their life expectancy increased.
A lot of my work having fracked gas pipelines.
The thing about fracking that's really complicated, though, is that it's 50% less carbon emissions than coal.
I got somewhere to go, and I don't want to talk to someone who's defending fracking.
Okay.
Well, I'm afraid that maybe in about 10 years there won't be a place for us.
I used to think that too. A lot of the worst predictions have not come true. Can I just show you some of it?
Sure, why not?
Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy, like freak out, but it's not historically unprecedented.
I love that.
Hurricane rates and frequencies, despite what climate models are predicting, our observed data shows that they've stayed the same.
It makes me feel better.
I think the way the news covers it every year, they say it's because of climate change, but when you actually look at it, we have not seen it go up.
I have a lot more to worry about than just if the next hurricane's going to kill me.
But then maybe you have one less thing to worry about now.
Possibly.
Are you worried about the climate?
Not too much.
Why are you here?
Saying thanks.
The worst heat waves we've still seen ever in the U.S. are from the Dust Bowl in the 1930s. So we're not living through the hottest time this country's seen, which I did not know that, and that made me feel better. This is actually milder weather than what our grandparents lived through.
Well, that's awesome.
Climate scientists will predict the future, and a lot of times the predictions are really wrong. So no, that's good for us. Some of them are predicting you're going to see almost 1 degree of Celsius warming. The blue line is what we observe, only 0.1 degree warming. You're not going to die from climate change, and I think it's really important.
So nice.
That's awesome.
That's surprising.
Yeah,
It's good.
protect the planet and like keep your passion, but don't be afraid. I think in this day and age, to be optimistic is actually more radical than to be realistic.
I completely agree.
And I want to be abundantly clear. I am not a climate change denier. I am just anti-climate alarmism that is hurting these kids. They are walking around with fear. I think it's a complete injustice, and I hope that I just changed one heart and mind today by showing them the facts. I'm Lucy Biggers from the Free Press. Let's all just take a deep breath.
Do you know what? I actually think a couple of things that woman said were like so good as well. Like when she said like in this day and age, it's actually more radical to be like optimistic than it is to be nihilistic. And I think that's so true. I think it's like that sometimes, you know, people that think they're like really radical and they're almost like against the grain, and they're the typical like they've dyed their hair blue, they've got like the septum piercing, you know, like, you know what I mean, you know which type I'm on about, and they almost like they act like they're really radical and against the grain. But I kind of actually see them as like some of the biggest sheep in society, you know, because they're just going around. They're just like so ingrained into like just what is like the narrative of our generation or that generation. Do you know what I mean? Of just like constantly jumping on whatever political bandwagon it is, you know, whether it's like Free Palestine, BLM, climate change, but none of them actually like look into any of it and actually know any facts. They would just like turn up at the things and wave the flags, and it's like they're like drones. I see them as like drones.
I found it funny when that one person got a bit mad that like and was like, I don't have time for this. When she
yeah. It was almost like the facts were like triggering her, and she was just like almost made her angry, so she just like didn't want to talk to her, which I think is so mad, isn't it? It's like why would you want to be that negative about the world?
Yeah,
you know?
I thought you had like anxiety about it. Surely it'd help you feel less anxious.
And she says at the end as well, didn't she? She said like, you know, she's all for like climate activism, but not climate alarmism. So like, yeah, of course we should like be conscientious and look after the planet. But just having this idea like everything's going awful, we're all gonna die. Like back in like the you know, like if you acted like that, say like 300 years ago in the army, you'd have probably been shot, because like the idea would be that like if that mindset then passed on to the other soldiers, you'd all fall to pot. And you know, because sometimes like you know, because sometimes attitudes can be infectious, can't they? So
that's like
if somebody being alarmed would make the other soldiers alarmed, then it's better just to neutralize them, because otherwise it's almost like a social contagion.
Well, people say that one of the reasons why we won like the war was because we were so like happy about like we got this.
Yeah, and
so
like and like
it is all about mindset.
And like I'm like obviously
mentality.
I'm quite into like military history and stuff like that. So yeah, I've listened to like, you know, you hear a lot of people like Americans and several other countries as well comment that like the British like mindset during war is almost like insane, because you could be like in the middle of like a gunfight, and like, you know, they call us like Tommies. You could be in the middle of a gunfight, and like the Tommies, they'd be like just cracking jokes, and it'd be like,
I think it's because British are so sarcastic.
Yeah, we're like, well, looks like we might not make it home for our fish and chips, eh, lads? Oh, it's like, and like to some other countries, they'd be like, what the hell? I can't believe these guys are joking right now, you know. And but yeah, I think as you said, it's like that sort of mentality of just almost, you know, keeping cool under pressure and stuff like that is just like that can be like make or break, can't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I really don't like nihilism in general. I feel like is such an issue in this day and age. There's so many nihilistic people, so many people with a nihilistic point of view or worldview, and yet again, as I said, it's so unhelpful. It literally doesn't help anybody or anything. If you're concerned about something, then if you want to do something like positive about it, then that's great. You know, even if your worries are unfounded, if you want to do something, try and do something positive about whatever you think is an issue, then that's cool. But don't just go around telling everybody that there's like no point in having kids and that the world's screwed and that everyone's evil for like eating a chicken nugget. And do you know what I mean? It was just like
what it made me think as well, like when some of the what you said about the cattle thing and like the grass absorbing like the carbon and that, like I think something we forget sometimes as well is just how clever like nature is to bring itself back into equilibrium. So we think we're having like this massive effect on things, but really like nature is so much more huge than so much bigger than we could ever imagine that like our impact is even on the earth and stuff. And it's like it will always try, the earth, the
world doesn't revolve around us,
gain equilibrium, you know. And it's managing itself, you know. If we I always think the biggest threat that we have is to ourselves rather than to the earth. It's not 100%. About it, like, do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
So it's you know, but people get on this massive bandwagon of like, oh, we're killing the earth and everything, and it's like
the earth doesn't care.
No, we're just probably messing ourselves up a bit from doing things like not in a natural way and not in a way that is more like good for everything, you know. But the earth's all right. The earth's gonna sort itself out. It's gonna if you give more cows, there's gonna be more grass, and then the grass is gonna eat carbon. So it's, do you know what I mean? It's built into the way it works.
Oh man, 100%. And I really think right, like the earth doesn't care. And by that I don't mean that in a way that I'm almost like dismissing the earth. I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like it's almost like narcissistic to believe that like we are having as big an impact on the earth as we think we are. Like, as you said, we could potentially be making things worse for ourselves in some way. Even that's debatable. But like, you know, if you look at say like the dinosaur periods, the dinosaur times, the earth's climate was very different then than it is now. If you look at say like the ice ages, some of the big ice ages we've had, the climate was very different than we have now. You know, we've had like mass temperature increases and temperature plummets, mass extinction events, all throughout the timeline of the planet, going back literally billions of years. So and the Earth will always just adapt. It will just keep on. Do you know what I mean? It's like
life will still grow in some form or the other, and it'll do something.
Individual species are always, evolving. Others are becoming extinct. That's always been the way it is, But the idea that we are just completely destroying the Earth is just flat out just not true.
But there's an agenda that will make us feel like we are, and then you feel nihilistic about it, and then it's just how's that helpful?
100%, man, 100%. Should we get back to the final? Get back to Michelle Sifri.
I like you're still saying it like that.
So when you said he was in darkness, was he in complete darkness?
Yeah, man. Pitch black, man. No, pitch black.
For 6 months.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah. So listen. So I'll tell you about the rest of his tale. So he did it, to study how the human mind experiences and perceives time in isolation, and how age affected this perception, and how the night sky affected his perception. The key findings were a distorted sense of time. Sifri's internal clock slowed significantly. Quite interesting how the absence of sun and moonlight would slow your body clock. He'd believed that only 151 days had passed when he came out of the cave, when in fact it'd actually been 180. His sleep cycle radically adapted. His body adapted to a 36-hour sleep cycle, where he would spend 36 hours awake and then he would sleep for 12 solid hours. But the thing is, he wasn't aware, obviously, that he was doing this. It's one of the reasons why it was so hard for him to keep track of time, because time sort of didn't mean anything to him. He was trying as hard as he could to use his logical human brain, his scientific brain, to document time, but it just became nigh impossible. So what he thought was a 24-hour day was essentially a 48-hour day. So he thought he was asleep for 8 hours, awake for 16. He was actually awake for 36 and asleep for 12, which is kind of fascinating in itself, isn't it? He had severe mental and emotional effects. He experienced profound isolation, and this caused radical paranoia and even hypochondria. He developed an intense fear of fungus and dust. He experienced intense sadness and depression, even suicidal thoughts. His cognitive abilities became extremely impaired by the end of the experiment. NASA studies his work because astronauts experienced similar memory loss to how he described for prolonged exposure to space, basically, astronauts that spent a lot of time in space.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't, does it? Apparently, that's a whole other cat of fish as well. The way it messes up your body as well. Astronauts, I wouldn't want to be an astronaut. But his findings were beneficial to humankind, though. They advanced the understanding of human sleep and the importance of physical touch and of light cycles to humans. He himself kind of ruined his life, as sad as that is to say, because he suffered such significant mental and emotional distress that it literally took him years to recover once he came out of the cave. It wasn't like, he had a long weekend in the sun and then went on holiday for a couple of weeks and then he was back to normal. He literally was emotionally and mentally disturbed for years after 6, which is crazy, isn't it? Don't get me wrong, as radical as it seems, you think 6 months in a pitch black cave. He went in there, completely mentally fit, very logical, educated scientist, left the cave suicidal, paranoid.
That's scary.
It is quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the experiment had a lasting negative.
What isolation it is.
Yeah, man. The experiment had a lasting negative impact on his mind, and it took him 8 years to fully recover afterwards. I think that's a long time, isn't it?
Wow.
I think 8 years ago, Imogen was 10. 8 years ago, you hadn't even started secondary school yet.
I was a little baby.
Cool, yeah, that's quite radical, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, his work helped prove that time is not just a force of nature, but it's also actively created by the human mind's stimuli, which shaped modern circadian rhythm studies. So yeah, he was.
One Direction was still together.
Wow, that's your main takeaway from that?
Yeah.
That 8 years ago, One Direction was still together. Sad times, eh? Sad times. Now you have to do your demented face. That's better. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, isn't it? I mean, the fact that he even agreed to do that in the first place, I feel is quite radical. Because 6 months is such a long time, isn't it?
Wouldn't his family miss him, and he'd miss his family?
I know, like, you think, like, you know, that you hear stuff like that and how it can really mess you up, or when you hear about, like, say, like Tommy Robinson, like when he was in prison and he was in isolation for like 8 months or whatever, or however long it was, and he proper messed him up as well. But like you hear some stories about, say, like Buddhist monks that will be like in these caves in the Himalayas and all like be meditating and stuff, and like will have pure isolation out of their own, you know, choice, but they're doing it in this inner going inwards and stuff, and like all like these darkness retreats where people have all of these like breakthrough experiences and that, and I'm like, oh, to me it sounds quite cool, but then like when you live in it, that it would probably be like insane, like, you know, like but I think that is a part of it as well. Say if you had the practice of a Buddhist monk and your whole life you'd been, you know, learning how to like control your mind and like meditate and like really like focus and stuff like that, you could probably cope with the isolation in a better way than if you just did normal life, like everyday life. You're completely used to your surroundings and you go into complete isolation without like that mental fortitude of like, I'm gonna go inwards and try and connect with the universe or something, you know. It'd be like, do you know what I mean? Because like, because there's part, especially when I was younger, there was like part of it was like attractive to me. It's like, I want to go to the Himalayas and like live in a cave.
Yeah, I think there's a part of it that is, but I mean, I think the thing that's, I mean, I don't know about you, I think the thing that seems attractive about it is almost like maybe to find some sort of like inner peace, like soul searching, being around all these like wise older men that have like that have like dedicated their life to like wisdom and enlightenment, and the feeling that will do you some good, because it's sort of like meditation mixed with exercise, mixed with sort of like learning and scriptures mixed, you know what I mean? It teaches you like great patience and wisdom. But like, I guess, yeah, it's not quite the same as it is just like just being in a dark cave, like being in a pitch black cave. Like,
oh, I was talking about the ones that go in a cave and like, you know, and they're pure isolated like that. Like, yeah, like some of the monks.
What, and you would like, you think that you would quite like to do that?
Well, yeah, there was a part of me that was like,
how long do they do it for though? Like,
that would be quite cool.
Yeah, because I mean, if they're just doing,
like,
I just turn into a bear and start hibernating.
Mate, their whole life.
Yeah, and some of them, and literally like the villagers in the village below would just come up and like put little bowls of food outside the front of the cave and stuff. Or sometimes they would get visitors. But mate, yeah, because there's this insane story about like this one guy that did it, and like there's this cave and there's just this handprint that's imprinted into the cave wall. Not just imprinted as in like there's a handprint. It's actually like physically like molded into the wall of the cave. And it was apparently this guru guy that got, you know, so in tune with like the laws of the universe that he physically just put the impression with his hand like into the rock and you know, change the molecular structure of the rock to like form around his hand and stuff. And I'm just like, that is insane, you know. Like that's like Zen Jedi master stuff, you know. So that was the bit that was appealing to me. It's like, I could go in a cave and unlock the answers of the universe and leave my handprint in there.
I was thinking almost so like in almost like a bit more of like a sketchy way. Like, at what point do you just start sort of like evolving into some weird like The Descent type creature? You know, I
just feel like I'm,
you know that horror movie The Descent? Have you seen that?
Oh, I haven't seen it, no.
Mate, you should watch it. Mate, I would say The Descent is The Descent is one of those horror movies, at least for me, that when I watched it at the time, like not many horror movies like get me, but I was a bit like, man, that is creepy.
Freak you out.
It's definitely like it's imagining the scenario of it is creepy. Mate, you should watch The Descent. You'd like it. But it's basically like, this isn't really a spoiler, it's got nothing to do with the story. But imagine if like the whole like premise isn't actually the storyline, it's just like, but imagine if like a subsect of humanity did what you said, Drew, that these monks did, right? And they basically just lived their entire lives in dark caves, but like never came out. What would happen is, though, and you can see active examples of this in nature. So there are literally like subspecies of amphibians and reptiles and things that go into caves, live all their lives there, end up breeding in there, their offspring there, and then a couple of generations later, they've adapted into complete darkness. So their eyes are basically useless. They've adapted like some sort of like echolocation
like
or
the
intense
fish I
feel.
told you about Monday.
And often they go completely white because obviously there's no pigmentation of their skin. So they just go completely like a pale white colour, and they become these like weird, strange creatures that just live in complete darkness. And imagine if humanity did that, you would almost go like completely pale, and you would sort of lose your eyesight, and you start using things like clicks, like bats do. You know how like bats evolved echolocation to know where they are, because most of them are like essentially blind. So they need to work on echolocation. And it's the same reason why like whales and dolphins have it as well, because when they're diving in the depths of the ocean, especially whales, they dive so deep, it's pitch black. So they need echolocation to be able to hone in on other creatures and to know where they are. And it's almost like there'd be like this weird sect of humanity that'd be like completely white and be like walking around these caves like blind, going like... And it's like creepy, man. Crazy. It's creepy. And because like... Have you
heard of the Kogi tribe? As well,
it rings a bell. Which we might have talked about them before, but tell me about them.
The Kogi tribe, to raise the spiritual leaders of their tribe, they for the first up to 9 years of their life, the children, whoever they choose that these are going to be the spiritual leaders, they'll live the first up to 9 years of their life just in complete darkness in a cave and not come out until they're 9.
How would your eyes not be like messed up though? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
called momos.
You know when you've just woken up after like a really long sleep?
Momo, the creepy thing.
You know when you just like wake up after like a really long sleep and it's like it's a really like bright sunny day, and you wake up and you've had a really long sleep and you like open the curtains, whatever, and you're almost like, and for about 5 minutes you're like a bit blinded, and it's almost like the sunlight's a bit too intense, so you almost like need to like adjust almost more like to like the normal room light first before you go outside. I feel like
if it's like opened its gates.
Yeah, I feel like if it's like that
9 years
after just like one sleep, then what would it be?
Mess it up completely.
Oh man, yeah, I can't imagine it's very nice.
Yeah, they get raised by the elders of the mamos that have been before, and a mixture between the mothers and the elders who'd been through the same process. And they live in these dark caves for like the first 9 years of their life.
Where do these mamos live?
They become the where is the Kogi tribe?
Yeah, like look up. Like, is it like South America or is it like Asia? Like where is it?
Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta Mountains in northern Colombia.
Oh, so it's South America. There's some interesting stuff in South America, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? I mean, we were talking about like coffee and chocolate earlier on, but like, yeah, it's just like so much interesting stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, the jungle, the ayahuasca and all that in the jungle,
man,
stuff, and all the shamanism and everything.
Talking about, you were saying about those like monks that lived in the caves and stuff, and I can't remember if this was like Shaolin monks or Tibetan monks or what exactly. I'll try and find out what, because again I think I did save something about the information, but obviously like there's been like several like quite radical religious expansions from like different religions over the generations and over the thousands of years and stuff.
Many.
Well, obviously that like like Islam is obviously a relatively new religion, isn't it? It was only like created like I think 700 AD. It's like 700 years after Jesus supposedly lived. I can't remember if it was 700 AD or 400 AD. I can't remember if it's 1400 years old or 1700 years old. Anyway, but point being, it's a very young religion. Christianity is a relatively young religion in itself, but obviously Islam's even younger than that. And obviously, it sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but I feel like people don't take this into account a lot. Obviously, every single Islamic country on the planet now is Islamic because of aggressive militaristic expansion. They didn't just become Islamic overnight. It was due to expansion. And that's one of the reasons why the Europeans launched the Crusades. Because obviously, like England was used to fighting with France and blah, 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 blah. But then at the end of the day, what they all had in common is they were all Christian by that point in history. And by the time it came to around sort of like 1000 AD or like 1200 AD, when around the time that King Richard the Lionheart was King of England, they were basically like, all right, I know that we've been fighting a lot, guys, but there's this new religion that's like really aggressively expanding west. They've already basically conquered the Middle East and like lots of like Asian countries. they are like going to try and take like Italy and Greece and Spain and France and like basically as far as they can. So we all need to team up, all of us like Christian nations, Poland, France, Germany, England, Spain, Italy. We all need to like join forces, and that's basically one of the reasons why they launched the Crusades. They wanted to make sure they didn't expand any further than like the Middle East, essentially. And obviously, after a lot of fighting, they managed to do that. And for a time, the Muslims even conquered southern Spain, and southern Spain was actually Muslim for a long time. Obviously, Morocco still is, but they actually about halfway up Spain was conquered and was Muslim for a while, but eventually the like sort of Spanish Christian knights eventually managed to retake what we think of as like Spain nowadays, you know. But anyway, my point being is they weren't obviously...
I never knew that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But what we obviously think of it from our side of the pond, so to speak. We think of it in terms of like, we think of like, you know, that sort of expansion and the Crusades. We think of it very much from a British/Europe-centric point of view. What we don't necessarily think about is obviously the same thing was happening on the east, to the east as well. And obviously, lots of modern countries, whether it was like Iran, Iraq, obviously all of these countries that are now Muslim, obviously were conquered, but they tried to, I can't remember where it was exactly, I need to find it because it's actually very interesting, but it's also kind of quite dark, but in like a kind of like, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of creepy sort of way. I can't remember, as I said, if it was like Shaolin monks or Tibetan monks, but basically they tried to conquer that part of Asia. I know that's super, what's the word I'm looking for? Like vague. But
vague.
Apparently these like warrior monks that were like known for being all like peaceful and like just like living on the mountains were like had a freaking dark side to them. And apparently like nobody knows exactly what happened, but it was like thousands and thousands and thousands of Islamic warriors went up the mountains to like get them. They all like disappeared off the face of the earth. And then like hundreds of years later, like European explorers that were like into those lands found all these books going on about how like the invaders that came, that like the monks like killed them all brutally and then like skinned them all and then used all their skin to like make books and stuff like that, and like it got like really dark.
Worse than Ed Gein.
And apparently like there's like all these like books and like other like almost like ornaments and stuff that are all in these temples to this day. And they were from like aggressive Islamic expansionists that like tried to go and kill these monks in the mountains, these like Buddhist monks or whatever they were, and they just slaughtered. So they were obviously dope as hell warriors because they
none of it.
Yeah, they managed to kill all of them, and then they like and they just skinned them all and then just made texts. And then so these apparently there's these really matter of fact like holy texts and then they tried to come and wipe them out, but we killed them all and we skinned them and made books of their bodies and all this stuff. And it's a bit like, whoa.
You are reading them now.
Yeah, let me try and find them because and apparently it was like a major blow to like the expansion of that part of Asia, and it sort of explains why certain parts of Asia, obviously, why you look at some parts of Asia that are like and like the east of the Middle East that are like Iran and Iraq and that, which are just like completely Islamic and have been for so long, and then explains why some parts of Asia just aren't, and I thought that was really interesting though, and obviously
even like Kazakhstan and stuff.
Yeah,
because I thought it was more than like Russia and they were in the USSR and that, but like before that, because there's pretty much everyone's Muslim there as well.
Yeah, because obviously where you have like Kazakhstan and countries like that, it's sort of like it's like south of Russia, isn't it? And it's like most of those countries were sort of assimilated and forced into the Islamic faith. It's quite interesting, the Islamic faith, because it's like a very militaristic religion. So their whole thing is like, they're quite unique in terms of like it's the only religion that claims to be the final religion. In terms of like, so we are the final religion. Every other religion, by their point, is like inherently heretical, and therefore don't deserve any sympathy and don't even have the right to exist. And by that point, it's like our job to take over and assimilate these cultures, and if not, then
I know Muhammad was like a warlord, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a warlord. Yeah, and as I said, it's the only religion where it's like there's nothing in, say, any Buddhist or Sikh or Hindu texts or anything like that, or Jewish texts or anything like that. That goes on about how we are the final religion. It's just, it is a religion. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's just, it is a religion, but it's nothing that's like by saying we are the final religion and we are the only religion, it kind of implies that anything else is it is almost like heretical in itself, isn't it? That like almost like anything else doesn't really have the right to exist. Yeah, which I mean, at the end of the day, what happened to live and let live, guys? Come on.
What did happen?
What happened to live and let live?
Oh, I thought you were meaning like an actual like question there.
No. I just meant like, like at the end of the day, like at the end of the day, why do I care if somebody's like a Hindu or a Sikh or whatever,
Word
to your mother. Yeah, I want to find that about
whatever.
That's one of your favourite words, isn't it, Imogen?
Whatever. Saying it like Eric Carmen though.
Yeah. I want to find this thing to tell you guys about the crazy monks. But in a minute, we'll talk about this other cool sleep cycle thing I saw, which I thought was really interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this, unfortunately. I want to tell you guys about the monks. I'll tell you guys about the sleep cycle. Do some research on that anyway, guys. It's interesting. Have you guys ever heard of the Uberman sleep cycle?
No.
This is quite interesting.
Uberman,
this is a
driver.
yeah. The Uberman sleep cycle. It's like a method, I guess, or like a way of sleeping that several notable people, including Leonardo da Vinci and Nikola Tesla, followed during their lifetimes. It's usually employed by very like scatterbrained and very productive people. There are certainly pros and cons for it. We don't know the long-term ramifications for it, but it's theorized at least that it's probably not very good for you. Anyway, what the Uberman sleep cycle is very simply that every 4 hours you'll sleep for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, I learned about that.
Yeah, but you will never go to sleep like most people go to sleep. You're not like going to like go to sleep for like 6 to 8 hours like most people do. You would just literally nap for 20 minutes. Sleep. Yeah, you would sleep. You would nap for 20 minutes every 4 hours, and that's just like your life. I don't like the sound of that, to be honest with you.
That's crazy.
Because
to be fair, that's kind of like my life, but I do still have my deep sleep as well.
Yeah, that's definitely not like your life, I would say. You sleep like 10 hours a day, don't you?
I suppose. I sleep for the 4 hours instead of the 20 minutes. I sleep for the 4 hours and then I'm awake for 20 minutes.
You're awake for 20 minutes and you sleep for 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's the Imogen method.
That is me.
Don't you say that don't you just say that you just sleep all the time?
I just sleep constantly.
And then like as soon as you get home you have like
a second when I'm not.
And as soon as you get home you just have like a nap before dinner.
I'm gonna have a nap when I get home.
Hard nap.
A hard nap. 4 hours.
What I don't understand is like you can like say that you can nap for like hours and then get up, but you still go to bed at like a decent time at night.
Yeah, so I'll probably go home and have a nap, and then for like 2 hours have my dinner, and then socialise for a bit, and then go to sleep by 10.
That is mental. To me, like a 2 hour...
And get like a whole night's sleep and won't wake up until like 7 o'clock tomorrow.
That's crazy.
No, 7:30 tomorrow.
So at night, you're having like 9 to 9.5 hours sleep.
Oh, yeah.
But you're also having a 2 hour nap in the afternoon.
Yeah.
In like late afternoon.
Yeah.
That's mad.
2 hour minimum.
You're sleeping sort of around 11 hours a day.
I sleep so good. And I'm always tired still. It's not enough.
That's mad. That's a crazy amount of sleep.
Oh, I love sleep.
Some days I get like half as much sleep as you.
I love sleep. It's my weird
That whole
flex.
baby thing has just changed my sleep completely.
Yeah, man.
My parents thought I'd do that to them. Never did.
What, just, were you like a ring?
I never changed. No, literally, like, my mum would have to keep coming in and checking that I'm breathing because I wouldn't make a sound.
Right.
Sometimes I'd wake up and I'd just lie there. Instead of crying, I'd just lie.
Wow.
Just stare at the
so
ceiling.
good.
That is really good, yeah.
But I actually didn't start talking until I was quite old. And then once I started, I never stopped. So I bet my parents wished that they didn't teach me how to talk.
Yeah, apparently it's weird. Apparently when I was a little kid, I was a bit like how you were when you were a kid, and I would just like be really easy to put down. And I just go to sleep really easy and stuff.
Really easy to put down.
Yeah. Just knock out the baby. But like they would just put me down and then like I'd just be like So they loved that because apparently my brother was the polar opposite.
Yeah.
So they were really worried because I'm the younger sibling. So they they just assumed that I would be similar to my brother. So they were like, oh, really not looking forward to it because he was like the typical just like crying all through the night, like being a little whingy git. And then apparently they said that they like loved it when they had me because like just
favorite child.
I just hardly would ever make any, like I would hardly ever cry. I'd always have a smile on my face apparently. And like they would literally put me down for like 2 seconds and I'd just be like...
He came out the womb smiling.
And I would just sleep until they woke me up. And like, yeah. So they were just loving it. They were just loving it.
That's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's called that Uberman sleep cycle. It's an extreme type of polyphasic sleep. That's what they call it, polyphasic.
Could never.
The only problem is it requires a high amount of discipline. You have to be a highly disciplined individual to do so because obviously, otherwise it's very hard to just
4 hours on the dot.
Oh yeah, because you have to do it 4 hours on the dot and you have to sleep 20 minutes on the dot. And if you're not willing to implement such like a strict regime, then it's all just going to fall apart, you know.
Jack in college would let me do that if I asked.
I think it'd make you go crazy.
You think so, wouldn't you? Apparently, they do say that, like, for people that do it, you're probably more at risk of having hormonal imbalances and more at risk of experience hypertension and potential heart attack later on in life.
Because I thought that, like, going into those, like, real deep, like REM cycles and stuff in sleep is actually really important for like brain health and to recharge your batteries.
That's probably why it's so like bad for your hormones and bad for like your heart and stuff. Because I know you're even like at more like increased risk of like heart attack and all cause mortality. Like if your like sleep is messed up, then like basically every single potential health issue you could have, there's like more chance that you're going to have it, which is quite a sad thought, isn't it?
It shows as well just how much we've adapted to just the natural cycle of just the day of the earth. Like when you're in complete darkness, how your body would probably stretch out the sleep cycles even longer. Like 36 hours and 12 hours, like that other guy and stuff. Like I can kind of see like how that would be a thing, you know, because like you wanna, for me anyway, like when I'm up, I want to get. I find it hard to go to sleep, like want to go to sleep because there's, especially at night when things do get like quieter and that, like you can get so much done and you can, do you know what I mean? Like I almost wish I could drag out the day a bit longer, but I don't want to. I don't want to have less sleep. I just want to get more things done of what I want to do when I'm awake, you know? Yeah. So it's like that'd be quite cool, I can imagine.
Yeah, and I find there's like a bit of like a clash of what's the word I'm looking for, like a clash of interest or something for me when I think about the whole, like, you know, should you go to bed early or wake up early, because obviously it's very hard, you know, to go to bed late and wake up early without suffering consistently anyway. And because I feel like, you know, there are some people I really admire that say are more like the early to bed, early risers type, like Jocko Willink, you know, like so disciplined, super decent guy, you know, absolute machine, like, you know, US Navy SEAL, family man, just a cool guy, you know, and like, and he's like still like, you know, he like plays guitar and he's like a surfer as well, do you know what I mean? So he's like a cool dude, you know what I mean? He's not just like some like jar-red, lung-haired, like, youth military, like dumbass, do you know what I mean? He was like, you know, like head of his like platoon, do you know what I mean? Like really good thinker. You listen to his podcast, you can tell he's got a really good head on him, and he's like written books and stuff, so he's like fully literate and everything, like really good at like articulating his thoughts and very motivational. But at the same time, still doesn't necessarily maybe have that like whimsical, introspective, super creative mind that I appreciate about somebody like Townes Van Zandt or J.R.R. Tolkien. And there's a part of me that really appreciates that, where I kind of just like being up really late with just all sort of like my crazy thoughts and ideas and experiencing. Like, for example, like a lot of the mad stuff we talked about on Pandora's Box over the years, I've learned about that late at night where I'm going down rabbit holes, you know? Like, if it wasn't for that and time...
else is quiet.
Yeah.
It's like...
Because in the day, you're too busy doing stuff. So I haven't got time to look into like mental stories and mental facts and
That's how I found Mr. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you were going to say Mr. Bean then.
Mr. Boom.
Do you know what I mean?
Boom.
But it's like that's the time that you look into this mental stuff, you know, and that's you explore the universe and explore mankind and history and the stories, and you know. So it's like, for me, there's a bit of a clash there. You know, there's a bit of a clash, and it's hard to find the balance with that always.
100%.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. If it was if I was left up to my own devices, I would just go on every night. I'd go on those deep dark tangents of mystery.
Yeah, man. But, definitely.
Alas,
it is not necessarily productive and
possible at this stage of my life, but I look forward to my retirement.
Yeah,
and my child being older.
Yeah, that's it. And I think that's one thing you've always got to tell yourself, haven't you, in like situations like that, like regardless of what situation.
But you don't want your child to get older.
Well, that's it. But I think it's like swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Because, like, you know, I think it's important to remember that whatever situation you're in right now as a human, like even if it feels like it's not going to last forever. So it's like, you know, make the most of whatever situation you're in right now. Because as you said, Imogen, like when you're older, you'll wish you had the time back of your kid being really young so you could appreciate that. And they're going to be older and they're going to be wanting to do their own thing and they're not going to want to be spending as much time with you.
Some
so it's
parents feel right now.
So then you'll be able to stay up late again and get up when you want a bit more in the morning. But you won't be thinking about that. You'll be thinking about how you missed the time with them when they were younger. So it's like, I don't know, it's the thing about human nature, innit? You always want what you can't have.
Grass I was greener.
Yeah, you always want what you can't have in the moment, don't you? So
yeah,
that's just a thing about human nature, it seems. A thing about human nature. Did you know that a blue whale's butthole can stretch to approximately 3.5 feet?
Didn't even know they had buttholes.
Yeah. You didn't know that a blue whale had a butt?
No.
What did you think that they did when they went to the toilet?
Don't know.
I think you could like crawl up inside it, couldn't you?
That's like fish don't have like.
Oh, actually, I'm not as impressed by that as I thought.
Yeah, because they are massive. They're like
because they're huge.
They can get like 100 feet long.
Yeah.
So proportionally, it's probably only about the same size as our buttholes. Like, you know, if say like the average man is like what, like 6 foot, just under 6 foot.
3%.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 3%. Do you reckon our buttholes are about 3% of our height? We tackle the important questions here, don't we?
Well, your lungs expand to be the same size as like, isn't it like multiple like football pitches or something?
Sorry, what was that, Imogen?
Your lungs, when you like flatten them out completely, like expand to be like.
Isn't that
the size of, like, football pitches?
Isn't that like your gut?
I thought that was your lungs.
I heard, isn't it like if you stretched your intestines, if you uncoil your intestines and like stretch them out because they're super stretchy, it could reach from like the Earth to the moon? Or is that like an old wives' tale?
Oh my God.
What?
Do you know? Have you heard that one before?
No.
It might just be an old wives' tale.
I've heard the ones about the lungs.
From here to the moon, not that one.
Yeah, because apparently they're like super stretchy. So, but it might not be true. I don't know.
Oh, I just lost my bit of foil. I just made into like a really, really, really small circle that looked a bit like a diamond.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that, Imogen. Do you want to hear about a crazy woman called Christina Sandhouse?
Yes.
At age 8, she had half of her brain removed to stop constant seizures. Doctors thought that she would never be able to drive or live normally. But, crazily, even though she had half of her brain removed, or almost half of her brain removed, she got her driving license at 17, earned bachelor's and master's degree, and became a speech pathologist and went on to live a completely normal life.
Go her!
Even though she literally had almost half of her brain removed.
That's like a power queen, if I've ever seen one.
That's like best case scenario, isn't it?
She's like diva.
Yeah, she had this condition called Rasmussen's encephalitis, which is a rare neurological disorder that causes chronic inflammation of one of the cerebral hemispheres. And it just causes you to have like constant seizures. So her life was like complete misery. Yeah. The surgery was performed in 1996 by a renowned neurosurgeon called Dr. Ben Carson, friend of the pod. It was considered one of the most extreme treatments possible, and doctors warned her family that Christina might never speak, walk, or function independently again.
That must have been such a tough decision.
Cool, yeah, as a parent, yeah. But defying every prediction, yeah, Christina not only recovered but thrived.
Go her!
What a good lady, eh?
Girl power.
It's one of the best cases of and examples of neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize and adapt after major damage or loss. Pretty mad, isn't it? Her brain basically...
you would think that it would just carve away certain things that you can do. But it seems that she could still think. She could still...
I assume that's why they said she might never talk again, because it might have taken her...
Well, yeah, apparently what happened is, in layman's terms, apparently her brain essentially rewired itself to take over the functions that were lost in the parts of the brain that were taken out.
Wow.
That's sick.
That's so crazy.
Do you know, I find the body is like so amazing, isn't it? In terms of like, we're like, even the dumbest person can do the most amazing things because you're just running on autopilot. Like, your conscious brain isn't actually really doing a lot.
Yeah.
Your conscious brain is thinking like, what do I want for dinner tonight? Which is like so hilariously simple. Yeah. But meanwhile, your body, this like fine-tuned...
breathing, blinking.
Yeah. It's like this well-oiled machine, which is like just
moving.
Your heart's beating perfectly, your lungs just converting oxygen into and then taking it into the bloodstream. So you've got oxygenated, rich blood just going all around the body. You've got this complex digestive system, which is taking...
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. You're just like eating stuff, and then it's just turning that stuff into energy and like turning it into glucose into your body and taking all the protein to repair all the cells in your body that are dying and that need to be rebuilt. And then your brain's just like, as it said, it's almost like this supercomputer.
It's also making poo and everything all at the same time.
Is that the thing that you find most intriguing about it? Is that your body makes poo?
I think that's a good thing to like gratitude wise, not that it's making poo, but just like when you think of just like having that perspective and actually thinking about it, like everything that your body's doing for you right now, like if you've got nothing to be grateful for in your life, like you're walking with something that because that is amazing, really, isn't it? We just don't consciously have that perspective that often, but that for me, just hearing that, it's like, okay, that's just something I'm going to be grateful for all the time.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it almost like goes back
that's my new personality trait.
Yeah, I think that's almost like goes back to what I was saying as well earlier on about how it's almost like, being grateful and appreciative of what your body can do. And it's like, like obviously I was talking more in like a movement way, just like the fact that we actually can just like walk and jump and run and like lift things and like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's actually kind of amazing. But then you're like, on a deeper level, as I said, almost just like that really intense internal stuff, which is just constantly going on. It's just kind of mental.
Intelligence.
You're not so great at jumping, are you? But
you're
a great ballerina, star ballerina, pro.
But I can't jump.
You can't jump on the wall outside, can you?
No. I'm not good at jumping.
I jumped on the wall and Imogen was like, what? How did you do that?
When can we see some of this ballerina moves then?
Well, when one of the times you're down next, probably not the next time because obviously you're coming down for DJ Khaled and Ceci Zoussoir. DJ Khaled. I love that you just instantly knew what I meant by that. But we're not really going to see DJ Khaled, don't worry, guys. I'm like, don't worry, guys. As if it would be a great concern if we went to see DJ Khaled. But Khaled. Yeah, one of the next times you're down anyway, Drew. Maybe we can do it sometime in like, probably not December because it's like Christmas. Maybe January or something.
It's coming 2026.
Yeah, I reckon we should do like a fun little feature that we can put out.
I won't be a ballerina anymore
on YouTube. Yeah, but you're not going to just forget it all, are you?
Well, I've got my performance like next week, and then I've got like my ballet exam like the week after that, and then I'm done.
Me and Drew are going to get some tutus.
Is someone going to record your performance?
My mum will probably get like little like videos on her phone.
It's send them over.
If Drew still lived locally, I'd be like, let's go down. Let's just like pop down, and let's film it and turn it into like a little mini documentary.
Oh God.
We could call it The Life of a Ballerina.
It'd be even funnier because you've got like no children there, so it's just like all of them are just parents there.
Then just be me and Drew filming it. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would actually be well interesting.
Oh God!
But yeah, we should do like a little fun, just little thing for YouTube where we do like a ballet thing with you. And me and Drew have to wear tutus.
Yes.
Ballet class.
Yes.
We have to wear tutus. We'll get some cheap tutus off Amazon or something.
Yeah.
Because
you might have to get some little
not want to see me in a tutu.
shoe things though.
Drew, it's what I've always wanted.
You might have to get some shoe things though, like
those little daps.
You can probably just use like daps or stuff. You get their like proper like ballet shoes, but you could probably just get like some really cheap like.
I'll wear a wetsuit with a tutu over it.
A wetsuit. I love the idea of that. It's like right. What's a little bit like a tutu?
You need a leotard.
A wetsuit.
A leotard.
Do you know what it's called when Drew wears a tutu?
What?
A Drew 2.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a wetsuit.
It's a Drew 2.
A Drew 2 is a wetsuit.
Callum's wearing a tutu and Drew's wearing a Drew 2.
A wetsuit and a wetsuit and a hula skirt.
I was gonna say you need to put your hair in a bun as well, but then
I want one of those little like pink frilly, like, you know.
Yeah, like the
you know what I'm on about.
The tutu
like I picture that's what a ballet dancer wears.
Like hang on.
Yeah.
Like when I did a ballet photo shoot back in the day.
Yeah.
Like one of drum roll, like one of these. It is pink. You can't see, but it is pink.
That's gonna be me and Drew.
But it's like, yeah, that's gonna be you.
That's a cool picture, man.
It is.
Do you know what I really like?
My parents did like a whole like photo shoot.
Do you know what I really?
Yeah,
that's cool, isn't it?
I can't see it. Move it that way a bit. Oh yeah.
The black and white ones look epic, Imo.
I got it on my wall, and it's also that one's on the wall in the living room.
That is epic.
That's
cool,
on the living room wall.
What's the show Drew the tutu one? That is amazing.
Oh, look at that.
This is from 2016. I was very little. Yeah.
That's cool as hell. Do you know what I really appreciate about you, Imo?
What?
Is that like you have some genuinely really cool pictures of yourself like that, but your WhatsApp profile picture is just that freaking mental picture of you.
Oh, I love that picture.
It's like a really.
So
I'll show everyone.
I'll
show everyone. It's like freaking just really cracks me up. It's like she's in like a fun house mirror or something.
Oh,
and her head,
I love it.
she just looks like a bit like demented.
Yeah.
I went to Weston with my boyfriend and we went in the mirror maze and it like distorts you.
It's the fact that if you like zoom in on her face, she just like looks like so mental.
I like those mirrors.
It was fun. I got like loads of funny pictures.
I remember they had those mirrors in like a club in Prague, and it's just really fun when you were drunk.
Oh yeah, nice. You got white. You look like you've got like one hench quad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's it. Yes. Oh, and on long legs.
Long legs.
Yes. Yeah. See, those mirror mazes are so fun. I love them so much.
They're mainly a good laugh, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just to let everyone know as well, because you might be thinking like, you know, what's happening with Bullwinkle. So obviously we are in regular contact with Bullwinkle still, and he is going to be doing a show with us. I think the week after, the week after Josh is coming on the show as a guest, where Bullwinkle's going to sign in and come on Riverside. Obviously he's in Australia, so he's at the other side of the planet. So it's like very, you know, look at hinking up the time. But I think if we do like a show at like 12, for him it will be like really late at night. But he said he's like happy to do that. So that'd be cool. So we'll have the return of the Bullwinkle, everyone. So if you want to hear, and he's back. See what he's been up to. Yeah, because he's been having loads of fun apparently. Because I do speak to him on by like, you know, like voice messages like several times a week. Yeah, he's been doing loads of cool stuff like deep sea scuba diving
this
and like
Calum's son.
Like off-roading, yeah. Off-roading, skydiving, like he's been doing like mental stuff. So it'd be quite cool to have a little update with Bullwinkle and
show me he touched the lizard, didn't he? Because you showed me that one.
Yeah, and then it tried to whip him and he was like, "Whoo!" Yeah. That was quite funny. Yeah, that was quite funny.
I touched it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, we can look forward to that. Anything else either of you guys want to talk about?
Not really.
No, we'll sign off for another PB, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another Pandora's Box. If you don't already, please go give us a follow on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of that good stuff. Just type in Pandora's Box podcast. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you. Have a good one, and we'll see you again next time.
Bye-bye.